What is wrong with you? Get out of my sight now! Dare you accuse me of such a thing?
Sir, please calm down.
Oh my goodness.
In the marble lobby of the prestigious Grandmont Hotel, Marcus Williams moves quietly, adjusting his daughter's small backpack like he's done 1,000 times before. No one knows he's built 3 luxury resort chains from the ground up. No one even notices the way his eyes automatically assess the property's structural investments and operational efficiency. But when the hotel manager and front desk staff struggle with a demanding guest complaint about room quality, he observes their complete inability to handle high-end hospitality standards. What they didn't know was that his family's investment firm had just acquired majority shares in this very hotel chain. And with just one phone call, he was about to change everything. Because sometimes the person you dismiss is exactly the one who holds your future in their hands. Before we dive into this incredible story of hidden identity and instant karma, make sure you're subscribed to our channel for more inspiring stories of justice and redemption. If you believe that respect should be given regardless of appearance or assumptions, hit that like button. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you can spot successful people just by looking at them? Drop your answer in the comments. This story might change your perspective forever. Marcus Williams had worked in hospitality for 22 years, building his empire one property at a time through careful investment and innovative guest experience. Design. Hotel staff walked by his family as if they were budget travelers, lost in the wrong establishment. But Marcus watched. He always watched. The flow patterns, the service gaps, the missed opportunities for genuine hospitality. On that Tuesday afternoon, Marcus heard something that made his jaw tighten with familiar frustration. "I don't care what the reservation system says," snapped the front desk manager to a flustered clerk. "These people clearly don't belong in our premium suites. Look at them." Marcus moved closer, his wife Sarah gently guiding their 8-year-old daughter Zoe toward the elevator. Those words weren't foreign to him. He'd heard variations throughout his career, even as he revolutionized the industry. He whispered to Sarah, "Same assumptions, different decade." The manager turned with a condescending smile. "Sir, I think there's been some confusion about your reservation. Perhaps you'd be more comfortable at one of our partner properties downtown." But deep inside Marcus, something familiar had stirred. The same determination that had driven him from a small-town hospitality degree to building a multi-million-dollar portfolio. 15 minutes later, the management team still lingered near the front desk, their voices growing sharper with each dismissive comment about those people and property standards. Marcus returned from settling his family upstairs, his trained eye now cataloging every operational failure he witnessed. "The HVAC system in the south wing is operating at 60% efficiency," said Marcus calmly, approaching the group. "Your labor costs are running about 30% higher than industry standard, and your guest satisfaction scores are probably below 7.2 out of 10 based on the service recovery I just observed." Dead silence. 6 pairs of eyes turned to him with barely concealed irritation. "Sir, with all due respect," the general manager scoffed, "I don't think a guest needs to worry about our operational metrics. Perhaps you should focus on enjoying your stay, however long that might be." Marcus walked away, but this time something had shifted in his expression. That wasn't just the sting of discrimination. That was 22 years of expertise finally deciding it was time to speak up. The hotel manager, David Richardson, watched Marcus disappear into the elevator. "Some people just don't understand their place," he muttered to his assistant manager. "The Grandmont has standards. We can't have every family thinking they can waltz in here like they own the place." If only he knew. In their premium suite, Marcus sat with his leather portfolio while Sarah helped Zoe with her homework. On the cover, embossed in gold, "Williams Hospitality Ventures, Excellence Through Innovation." The pages were full of acquisition, reports, property assessments, and strategic development plans spanning 2 decades. Back then, this was his language: RevPAR optimization, guest experience mapping, operational efficiency matrices. Marcus had started with a single bed and breakfast in Vermont, transforming it from a failing family business into a model for boutique hospitality. From there, He'd built his reputation on taking underperforming properties and creating destinations. That exceeded every guest expectation. The last time he'd touched this portfolio, he'd been finalizing the Grandmont acquisition. 3 months of due diligence, financial analysis, and strategic planning. He'd never visited the property as an owner, until today, when Sarah had surprised him with a family weekend getaway. She'd had no idea this was one of his newest investments, but this time, Marcus didn't feel the usual excitement of a new venture. He turned to his laptop and started to review the detailed staff performance reports his management company had prepared. "There it is," he whispered, scrolling through customer complaints and operational inefficiencies. It was always there. The data painted a clear picture: declining guest satisfaction, increasing staff turnover, and management practices that prioritized appearances over genuine service excellence. This wasn't just about one uncomfortable interaction. This was about a fundamental failure of leadership that was destroying the property's reputation. Marcus had built his success on a simple principle: exceptional hospitality meant seeing the humanity in every guest, regardless of their background, appearance, or assumptions about their purchasing power. The Grandmont was failing that test spectacularly. The hotel business center was empty when Marcus stepped inside at 10 p.m. He'd spent the evening reviewing financial reports, staff evaluations, and customer feedback data that painted an increasingly troubling picture. The facility was state-of-the-art, but Marcus wasn't there for the amenities. He opened his secure laptop and initiated a video conference with his executive team. No hesitation. This was exactly why he maintained hands-on involvement in every property acquisition. When he finished the call, Marcus looked at the detailed action plan now outlined on his screen: immediate management review, comprehensive staff retraining, and a complete overhaul of service standards. There was nothing else to say. He'd made his decision. The next morning would bring changes that David Richardson couldn't imagine. By 6 a.m., Marcus's phone was buzzing with confirmations. His regional operations director, Patricia Chen, had already arrived from the corporate office. His head of human resources was reviewing staff files. The transformation had begun while most of the hotel still slept. "This could be exactly what the property needs," Patricia had said during their early morning call. "Sometimes change has to come from the top down." Within hours, the story would become a case study in how quickly accountability could reshape an organization's culture. They found Marcus in the business center, reviewing quarterly performance reports with Patricia Chen. David Richardson stared at the corporate letterhead scattered across the conference table. "Williams Hospitality Ventures, new owner integration plan." "That's the guest from yesterday," whispered the assistant manager, her face draining of color. Marcus sat across from the management team, his portfolio resting prominently on the table. Richardson's hands were visibly shaking as he processed the implications of what he was seeing. "You want to know who I am," Marcus said calmly, "so I'll tell you." He opened the portfolio to reveal the acquisition documents, signed just 3 months earlier. Williams Hospitality Ventures acquired 68% controlling interest in Grandmont Hotels in April. "I've spent 22 years building a reputation for turning around properties exactly like this one, hotels with beautiful facilities, but failing leadership." Richardson tried to interrupt, but Marcus continued with quiet authority. "Yesterday you demonstrated exactly why this property's customer satisfaction scores have dropped 12% over the past year. You assumed that a black family couldn't afford your premium suites. You dismissed operational insights that could have saved you thousands in efficiency improvements. Most importantly, you forgot that hospitality means treating every guest with dignity and respect." Marcus pulled out his phone and showed them the customer reviews he'd been reading. "Listen to this. Staff seemed uncomfortable with diverse guests. Management appears to profile customers. Beautiful hotel, but service felt discriminatory. These aren't isolated incidents. They're patterns." "I didn't leave hospitality to make money," Marcus continued, his voice carrying the weight of years spent proving himself in an industry that had often questioned his presence. "I entered this business because I believe every person deserves to feel welcome, valued, and respected when they're away from home. That's not negotiable." In that quiet conference room, they finally saw Marcus not as an unwelcome guest, but as the owner whose vision would determine their professional futures. The next morning, Marcus stepped into the lobby like always, but everything was different. Patricia Chen stood at the front desk with a team of corporate trainers, implementing new service protocols in real time. The room buzzed with purposeful activity as staff members received updated training materials. A line of employees approached Marcus throughout the morning. "Mr. Williams, I want to apologize for yesterday," said one front desk clerk, her voice sincere. "I should have stepped up when I heard those comments. Thank you for showing us what real leadership looks like." Later that day, Marcus announced comprehensive changes, mandatory diversity and inclusion training for all staff, new service excellence standards, and a guest feedback system that would ensure every visitor felt valued regardless of their background. A new hospitality scholarship program would be created in partnership with historically black colleges, giving the next generation of hospitality professionals opportunities to enter the industry with full support. The corporate team invited Marcus to address the entire hotel staff. Under one condition: we do this as a learning opportunity, not a punishment. Growth happens when people understand why change matters, not when they're afraid of consequences. The main conference room was packed when Marcus stepped up to address nearly 60 employees. He looked at faces ranging from eager young front desk associates to veteran housekeeping supervisors who'd worked in hotels longer than he'd been alive. "Excellence in hospitality starts with a simple recognition," he began. "Every person who walks through our doors has a story, dreams, struggles, and dignity that deserves our respect. When we make assumptions based on appearance, we don't just fail our guests, we fail ourselves and the incredible potential of what hospitality can be." He paused, letting the words settle. "The guest you dismissed today might be a travel blogger, a corporate executive planning a company retreat, or someone's beloved family member who deserves the same excellence we'd want for our own loved ones. But more than that, they're human beings who chose to trust us with their comfort and experience. Real hospitality isn't about the thread count of our linens or the marble in our lobby," Marcus continued, his voice growing stronger with conviction. "It's about creating moments where people feel seen, valued, and welcomed exactly as they are. That's not just good business, it's good humanity." The entire room erupted in sustained applause, but Marcus noticed something more important: the nodding heads, the thoughtful expressions, and the genuine engagement from staff members who finally understood why their work mattered beyond just processing reservations and cleaning rooms. 6 months later, Marcus walked through the transformed Grandmont lobby, now bustling with diverse guests who consistently rated their experience as exceptional. He'd kept his promise to maintain hands-on involvement, visiting regularly to mentor the management team and ensure sustainable culture change. The property had become a model for inclusive hospitality practices, featured in industry publications and studied by other hotel chains seeking to improve their service standards. Guest satisfaction scores had climbed to industry-leading levels, and staff turnover had decreased dramatically as employees found renewed purpose in their work. David Richardson approached Marcus near the concierge desk, genuine humility replacing his former arrogance. "Mr. Williams, I wanted to thank you again for giving me the opportunity to learn and grow instead of simply replacing me. I've never been more proud of the work we're doing here." Marcus smiled, remembering his own journey from that ambitious young hospitality student to the executive who now mentored others facing similar challenges. "Excellence isn't about perfection, David. It's about commitment to continuous improvement, and never forgetting that our success depends on how well we serve others." As he watched a young black family check in with genuine enthusiasm from the front desk staff, Marcus felt the deep satisfaction that came from knowing his work created ripple effects far beyond profit margins. This was why he'd built his business, not just to succeed, but to open doors and create opportunities for dignity, respect, and excellence to flourish. The story of that difficult Tuesday had become a teaching moment that continued to inspire change throughout the industry, proving that sometimes the most powerful transformations begin with one person refusing to accept anything less than the respect every human being deserves. If this story inspired you to think differently about assumptions and the power of treating everyone with dignity, make sure to subscribe for more stories of justice, growth, and the incredible things that happen when people refuse to accept discrimination as normal. Remember, you never know who might be capable of changing your entire world, so treat everyone like they already have.